Hey guys, so this is going to be a little bit of a different video for once. I'm going to be ranking the Coca-Cola 600 patriotic paint schemes. I won't be ranking every single paint scheme in the sport. I'll just be ranking the patriotic ones. Also, I'm only ranking the ones in the Coca-Cola 600. If more do come up or, pop up for the Coke Zero 400, the Coke Zero Sugar 400, dumb name change to be honest, and the Phoenix Fall Race. I might update this, and then at the end of the year, you should see an updated list with more of these cars. Also, I'm doing this unscripted because why not? Also, I feel like my full thoughts aren't going to come out if I do it scripted. Anyway, so apologies for the stutters, but anyway, let's get on to this. Coming in last place is the Kroger Red, White, and Barbecue Coca-Cola Patriotic car driven by Bubba Wallace this weekend. What is there to say about this mediocre paint scheme? There's literally nothing on it that just screams patriotism. All I see is stars underneath the numbers, and then 3 stars underneath the hood, underneath the Kroger logo. That's it. It's as if RPM wasn't even trying with this car. Coming in at 20th place is going to be the Kasey Kahne Thorn car. Now, this doesn't necessarily scream camo, but to be honest, I can see that they were at least trying with this one. Bubba Wallace's car didn't look like they were really trying much, even if they just slapped red, white, and blue all over the car. But the Kasey Kahne camo car, it looks like at least they tried. So I'll give them credit for that, and that gives them this 20th place. In 19th place is going to be the David Ragan MDS Transport. Now, to be honest, I really did not want to put this car here, because literally, all they did was just change the MDS logo and make it patriotic. But the Kasey Kahne car, you can't really tell that it's camo, so that just barely gave the MDS Transport patriotic car an edge, but that doesn't excuse the fact that it's just lazy and terrible. Coming in at 18th place is going to be Michael McDowell. Same thing applies with David Ragan. They just changed the logo to patriotic. It's lazy and dumb, but I just gave McDowell the edge because his paint scheme honestly looks cooler. Although, if I'm being honest with myself, they should be tied. Coming in at 17th is going to be William Byron's Liberty University patriotic car. I hate this paint scheme. The car itself is not as ugly as I once thought it was, but the patriotic car design, it just doesn't work. They put it inside all the logos, and by all the logos, I mean all the main ones. Just lazy. But at least they did it with all the main logos, not just the hood. So I gave Byron a slight edge over Ragan and Castle because of that. Coming in 16th place is going to be the Austin Dillon Coca-Cola Patriotic. Now, I really am considering if this isn't even a patriotic car, because the Coca-Cola paint scheme itself is already so basic, and yet the American flag on there just seems like an afterthought that was just plastered on there. Because it literally, just take away the American flag, don't change the paint scheme at all, just take away the American flag. It's literally a Coca-Cola car, so the American flag just seems like an afterthought. And because of that, this paint scheme stays down here at the 16th place. Coming in 15th place is going to be Corey LaJoie's MyFreedomSmokes.com camo. This car literally screams military. It's built to look like an airship from the past. The star on the back is just amazing. And although you really can't see the airship build because it's pretty faded into darker colors, it is still pretty visible. So for that reason, while I wish I could put it higher, it remains down here at the number 15 spot. Coming in 14th place is going to be Gray Galding's unsponsored patriotic car. I'm genuinely impressed that BK Racing was able to do this interesting of a car. Earthwater isn't on there, so they don't have the lime green and blue colors that are normally on there, so I think that really works. But here's the problem I have with this car. It's not really celebrating, patriotism. It doesn't look patriotic. It just looks like target practice. You only see 1 star on either side, so as creative as this paint scheme is, it stays here at the number 14th spot. Coming in 13th place is going to be Kyle Larson's DC Solar Patriotic. The only thing that screams patriotism about this car is the Made in USA logo on the hood. Other than that, it literally just doesn't scream patriotism that much. The red and just the colors in general, they're just splattered everywhere on the car, making it not really look like a patriotic paint scheme. But at the same time, it still somewhat does look like a patriotic paint scheme. It's hard to describe, really. But as much as I love Kyle Larson, this paint scheme does not do justice for America. It ultimately will stay at the number 13th spot. At number 12 is going to be Aric Almirola's Smithfield Patriotic. This car really caught my eye during the race. The red 10s just look so amazing. And the stars on the side, just phenomenal. But here's the problem that keeps this paint scheme out of the top 10. It's still the standard Smithfield car. Just take away the stars and stripes, the Smithfield car is right underneath it. So it feels like they just plastered all of this on top without really changing the paint scheme. I'm not saying that the Smithfield paint scheme is bad. It's literally one of the best paint schemes of the year. But I feel like they could have changed more to make it just a little bit more different from the regular Smithfield paint scheme. So for that reason, it stays here at the 12th spot. Coming in 11th place is Jeffrey Earnhardt's Black Rifle Patriotic. This car is wonderful. The fade from the black to the American flag on the side of Jeffrey's car, phenomenal. Although I think the black is a bit overdone, and it honestly really doesn't scream patriotism as much, but it's still a beautiful car. So, unfortunately, this just misses out on the top 10. Coming in at 10th place is going to be Alex Bowman's Nationwide Insurance Patriotic. This car is, in my opinion, one of the best 88 car patriotics that we've gotten in a while. I love the National Guard car from 2014. I thought last year's car was amazing. This car is pretty good. The only problem is I think the white is just a bit too bland, and there's not enough patriotism to sprinkle on the car. But the way this car was designed was just enough to allow it a spot in the top 10. Coming in 9th place is going to be Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s Fast and Low Patriotic car. I think this car has a lot going for it. It's definitely not bland. It's really beautiful, but at the same time, I think it's just a bit too complex. There's way too much stuff going on, especially above the front tires, the fenders. They just look, I don't know, it just looks like they were trying to do too much on not enough space. So, while this car is beautiful in some areas, in other areas, it is pretty ugly. But still, it celebrates patriotism pretty nicely, so that gets it a spot on the top 10. Coming in 8th place is Chase Elliott's Napa Auto Parts Patriotic. This car screams patriotism, but there's two things that are holding it from the top. One, the yellow numbers just don't fit, and two, I think the blue actually overshadows the rest of the car, and the colors honestly just don't mix that well when you have that much blue on your car. But the patriotic stuff is pretty beautiful, so I can't really just put it down any lower, to be honest. Coming in 7th place, maybe a little bit of bias showing through, Jimmie Johnson's Lowe's Patriotic. The final Lowe's Patriotic he will ever run. I'm going to be honest, this car is beautiful. It looks beautiful under the lights. I don't think it's overdone. It's not underdone either. It's just beautiful. The only problem is there were other paint schemes that I just found more beautiful than this one. So it pains me, but the Jimmie Johnson Lowe's Patriotic car is in 7th place. Coming in 6th place is Martin Truex Jr.'s Bass Pro Shops 5-Hour Energy Toyota Camry Patriotic. The American flag all over the car. That's the only thing patriotism there, and it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. That's really the only word that comes to mind when I describe this car. Only problem is why I couldn't bought it higher is because the rest of the car literally doesn't help the car just boost up. It's just the regular car. And then just put the American flag on top of it. So that's really why I couldn't put it higher. I wish I could, but I just can't. Coming in 5th place, maybe some more bias showing through for me, but it's the Geico Military Chevy Camaro driven by Ty Dillon. I always look forward to seeing the Geico military car on the track. I just love seeing it. It's just a beautiful sight. The camo is it's so nicely, it just so nicely wraps around the entire car. I would put this at number 1 if I could, but there were still more beautiful paint schemes, and I think the white numbers on the sides just really downgraded the paint scheme a bit, but still, one fantastic car. Coming in 4th place is going to be Kyle Busch's M&M's Red, White, and Blue Toyota. Patriotic. I always expect this car on Coke 600 weekend. It never fails to disappoint me. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, but the only reason it's not in first place, it could be at first place right now, but the only reason it isn't is because it doesn't really capture the patriotic spirit. There's nothing in it that just particularly screams patriotism at me. It's just an M&M's Red, White, and Blue Toyota. But still, I love this car. Coming in 3rd place, it pains me to put this here, but Matt Kenseth's Wyndham Rewards Patriotic. This car is absolutely beautiful. There is no denying that. But there is one thing that keeps me from putting it at the top of the list. Nothing else really screams patriotism. The car is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. But nothing else, aside from where the patriotism is, nothing else about it just screams patriotism. The car, the middle especially, it's beautiful. This was an eye catcher the second it was revealed. But the rest of the car just doesn't do it. But the beauty of the middle, just the way the middle looks on the car, it's enough to put it in the top 3. So maybe some more bias, but it's beautiful. Coming in 2nd place is going to be Ryan Newman's Liberty National Life Insurance Company since 1990, Patriotic. They use the original template of the Liberty National car to the best of their ability. And by to the best of their ability, I mean to make an absolute masterpiece. I am so angry that they canceled this on the 164 because Lionel apparently doesn't, want to make all patriotic cars available immediately. But this car is just absolutely beautiful. There is no inch of this car that literally doesn't say it. There's no inch of this car that doesn't scream patriotism, except for maybe the lime green numbers, which is why this isn't number 1. If it had white, red, or blue numbers on the sides, then maybe, just maybe, it would be the number 1. That's how beautiful this car is. But because of the lime green numbers, it isn't number 1. But it was a very close battle between the top 3. I was debating for hours technically I debated for only like 30 minutes. I debated for 30 minutes who should get number 1, and I honestly think I found it. Number 1 is Brad Keselowski's Miller Lite Patriotic. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This literally looks like a patriotic car already. Just adding the American flag. It literally just looks like a patriotic car. I don't know what it is about this car. It just screams patriotism. Even where there's nothing there. I don't know. The white just gives off the patriotic vibe so much more than I can imagine. I didn't pick up last year's car, but I am definitely picking up this year's car. Or I end up picking up last year's car if this year's car is canceled. But still, I don't know what it is about this car. It just screams patriotism on every inch of this body. It just screams patriotism. I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't know. It just looks beautiful. The American flag covering the whole middle section of the car just works. The white, it doesn't seem so bland. It seems like it would be just bland with the white there by itself, but it isn't. It's beautiful. It just screams patriotism on every inch. I don't know how to describe what feeling to you guys I'm feeling right now. Overall, all the reasons I just stated, and the way just the car looks in general, is why the Brad Keselowski Miller Lite Patriotic gets the number 1 spot on this list. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to do more of these in the future. Thank you all so much for watching.